What's going on, everybody? It's James, aka Comics for Cheap. Doing my video a little bit differently today because I just had some things to discuss and talk about. So I just really wanted to make it more of like a discussion than anything else. That's why I'm just deciding to go live with it instead. So basically, I'm here to discuss the CGC price hike. So if you have been living under a rock recently, CGC decided that today, starting April 28th, that they are going to be raising the prices on all of their collectibles, saying that the collectible demand is just so high right now that they are having trouble keeping up. And in response, they are going to be raising their prices significantly, like over 10%, pretty much across the board. So I just wanted to talk about it from a couple of different standpoints. One, I want to do the terrible thing of playing devil's advocate and taking the side of CGC. Two, I want to talk about it from my point of view as a collector, from my point of view as a buyer, and from my point of view as a seller slash facilitator for people to get their books cleaned and pressed and submitted. So let's just start with kind of going over like what kind of price hikes we're talking about. First of all, your memberships per year, I believe, have gone up, and your benefits per membership have gone down. So, for example, I have a premium membership still currently. It holds until February of next year. So, actually, I got lucky. And I'm actually grandfathered into the system for one more year so I can make a decision next February as to whether or not I want to stay with CGC or move somewhere else. But basically, that's you got rid of your 10% off of the grading tiers with that membership. So that's $150 a year. You do get $150 credit with CGC. So basically, it's almost like it's not much per year, but you don't get the 10% off anymore. So that's gone. And then Elite goes to $300, and instead of 15% off, you only get 10%. And now with dealer accounts, I think you only get 15% instead of 25%. So right across the board, they're cutting your discount. So they cut your discount, and they've raised the prices for grading. So modern books now, instead of $20 or $18 with my discount, are $22 or I guess $19.80 with my discount for until February. So that's a 10% hike. They got rid of the value tier, which I think was around 28 or I think maybe 30. It was 30, I think. So value tier was around 30. So now that's at 33 with economy. They just lowered economy and cut out value. So that's a 10% hike. Standard and Express walkthrough, I never really did too much of those, but the standard is now 75. Express is now 120, and walkthrough is just 3% of fair market value. Fast Track has gone up 50% from $10 to $15, which is a little wild. And there's no promise whatsoever of them actually making their services faster. So I think they claim that they have a new facility, or they're building a new facility or something like that, which worries me. Think about how many books you bring, like relocating books with the quality control that they already have, right? Just like relocating books from one facility to another, that's bound to have mistakes. You're bound to damage stuff, misplace stuff, get stuff out of order. So that's a headache that I can only imagine. And then hiring something between 70 and 100 new employees, bro, that's a lot of training to do. That's a lot of new employees. That's also worrying. Of just like think about it, like I was a number 2 at a pretty large retail store, corporate store, and one of my jobs was training, so training managers and training employees. And think about how many mistakes are made within the first month or so of an employee working, and just to have 70 new employees dealing with your collectibles, it's definitely not something that I'd be rushing to give them my business personally. So, okay, so now let's talk about from a devil's advocate, CGC's point of view. They're right. Collectibles have exploded. There has never been a time like this right now that, comics are so high in demand, and it's just basic economics, like economics 101. As the demand goes up, the price goes up until they reach that intersect point where they hit the like an equilibrium. So I'm sure I am sure that CGC sat down with financial advisors or economists or whatever, and they probably figured out what is the price hike that we make. That obviously we will lose customers, but with a higher price, we're still making money or making what we need to make. I'm sure that they already went through all those numbers and everything, and it does suck for us as the consumer. But that is just what their business move was, right? So now let me talk about it from my point of view as a buyer. Now, as a buyer, now I'm looking more uh, to buy from like just books that are already graded, right? Like I'm not looking to get a raw book that I could potentially slab and stuff like that. So now my focus is more if I'm looking for a book that I want to get graded, why not already get it graded? Because now the grading prices are higher. From a seller, who do you think I'm going to pass these CGC costs onto? It's going to be passed on to the customer, right? So who? So it's tricky because now as a buyer, I'm looking for something that's already slabbed, and as a seller, I'm trying to pass these higher prices on because it's cutting into your profit. So we're going to see a rise in the cost of CGC slab comic books, unfortunately. And then as someone who facilitates a lot, I mean, I'm gonna have to try to convince people to be a little more picky. It's going to be trickier. I might lose business as far as people can't afford to submit to Clean and Press and submit to CGC. So that's definitely something that's going to be interesting taking a look at in the future as well. I mean, I know I personally, as a collector, will be a lot more picky and specific about what I choose to submit. So why wouldn't other people? It's worrying. I'm not exactly happy with the whole situation. I understand it again, like I said, from a business point of view. It will definitely have a lot of people, I think, looking at other options, whether that be CBCS or probably not PGX, but if it is CBCS and just kind of looking to them and see what Steve Borak has up his sleeve. I know he just launched like a major sale of some sort, and it's a great response to what CGC has just done. So I think we're going to see a small shift, and I don't think that people are going to hold the law of CGC as much anymore. So we will see. But again, I just wanted to go and just make this kind of a format of a video just because I'm interested to hear what you guys are thinking, how it's going to affect you as a buyer or a collector. Are you going to make a switch to CGC? Again, keep in mind, we still haven't gotten any kind of promise or any kind of action that they're going to move any faster. So this is just a price hike. And they're saying there's better things in the future. I understand a lot of people prefer the labels of CGC. A lot of people like those custom labels too, that you can have like the character on the label. I wish that they didn't get rid of them. I mean, I think that's silly. I do like the ease of some of their private signings, but their private signings lately have it's almost like they're focusing on getting celebrities instead of like writers and creators, which is kind of silly to me. But that is definitely going into, you got to think about it. That's going into their prices too. Like just being able to secure and procure these top tier celebrities. Like they've got Tom Hiddleston coming to CGC. Why? To sign? What are you going to really give Tom Hiddleston the first appearance of Loki to sign? I mean, that's that I don't know. Maybe like a modern book, but you're going to pay out the butt for it. So I don't know. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents on it. Again, please leave a comment below about what you guys think, how you think it's going to affect the game, how you think it's going to affect you. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and please stay villainous.